Alright, so I'm going to show how to open up and disassemble this Samsung notebook model NP940Z5L. So first what you want to do is undo all the screws on the bottom. You would use a PH0 or a J0 screwdriver. So it's one of the smaller ones. Don't use the PH1 or J1 or the 00 because then you'll end up messing up the screws. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, once you remove all those screws, all you have to do is get underneath part of the case, or you can go from here. If you have a suction cup, you can use that. That'll kind of help you, and you can use that to kind of pull it out. So the cover doesn't really have any clips or anything, at least not in the front. So you'd want to pull up from the front side away from the hinge, and it can just pop up just like that. Okay, so that's how you would remove that. If you haven't opened it, if it hasn't been opened, it might be stuck a little bit to these thermal pads, so just use a little bit of force, but it should come out pretty easily. Okay, then what you want to do is remove the battery. So this is held in with some screws. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So remove those 5 screws. After you do that, you can lift the battery up kind of from the back by the tabs. All right, and then you can kind of just, it gets stuck, so you just have to kind of use a lot of force to pull it up. But the battery just comes up straight up like this. You can see these slots for the battery. Okay, if you need to replace the battery model number is this AAPBUN4NP. Okay, so hopefully you can see that. All right, I don't know if this model AS would also be useful, but 1588-3366. Okay, so that's how you would remove the battery. Here you can see the trackpad connector. So to remove these, they have these little latches that you just flip up. Once you flip it up, you can pull the connector out, and then just put it, to replace it, you just put it back in. So basically like that. Okay, and then just put it back in the slot. Make sure it goes in all the way. Alright, once you get that back in, then you can push that back down. Okay, so trackpad connector, you got the keyboard backlight connector and the keyboard connector. The keyboard connector also has a latch. It's on the front side though. Alright, then you got the speaker connector here. This is the left speaker. But basically you just grab this connector and just wiggle it and it'll come out. If it's stuck, just keep wiggling it and it'll eventually pop out. Then you got the other speaker here, same thing, just use your fingernails and just keep wobbling it like that, and you'll see it comes out pretty easily. Okay, the speakers are held in with these little rubber gaskets. It looks like there's also a screw here. So to take out the speakers, you just take out the one screw on this side and the one screw on this side, and then you can actually lift the speakers out. Alright, the GPU and CPU are soldered to the board, so it's not user replaceable, as well as the wireless card. You can undo the antennas, so you just go as close to the tail as possible and then lift it up from the tail, so you'll see it comes up at an angle. Okay, so don't try and pry out from the front or you can damage. Always pry it up from the tail. And then to put it back, you just line it back up. Alright, just like that. Make sure that when it's lined up, if you move your finger over the top, it stays in place, and then you can just push it down. Okay, so there's that. You got these little brackets helping hold the board down in place. Then you got the LCD connector. If you're going to disconnect the LCD connector, make sure after you remove the battery, open the computer a little bit and then just hold the power button for a few seconds. That'll drain any power from the computer or the board so it doesn't cause any damage. Alright, once you do that, you have this little tab, you just pull on it and it'll pop out. If you can't yank it out, because right now it's really hard to pull out, usually I use my fingernail, and then right where the plastic part is, you can kind of pry that up just like that. So as you can see, there's the metal part that goes around this connector here. So that part actually won't come out. You have to actually pry up this black plastic part of the connector. Okay, so I'm going to leave that in there. Alright, and if you need to change the whole screen, you will have to take out this plastic bracket, and then you can take out the hinges. Looks like they don't cover the hinges with the board, so you don't need to take the board out. That's nice. And this board is connected by this cable to the main board, and they actually label it here, main and sub. So if you need to take them out, you just basically pop these connectors up just like that, or you can use these little tabs. And the SSD is under there, so I'll show you with this one. You can pull this tab. I don't like using the tabs because it doesn't give good force, so I usually will use this. But you can grab both tabs like this, okay, and then pull it up if you don't have like fingernails to do it. Okay, so that's how you get that cable out. Then you got the SSD here. It is an M.2. It looks like a SATA SSD. I'm not sure if it supports PCIe NVMe, but there's the SSD. Okay, and this board is separate from the rest of the board, as I said earlier, so you can actually take the whole thing out. The RAM is actually soldered to the board. It's most likely underneath this cap, so if you need to change the RAM, you can't. It's actually part of the motherboard, or in this case they call it a logic board, since none of these pieces are replaceable. But that's all there is to this device. I don't see much else. So hopefully this video helped you. If it did, please like and subscribe because that'll help me. And thank you for watching. Bye.